A unique community of women divers known as Haenyeo have been harvesting food from the seas around Jeju for generations. They dive without oxygen tanks, showing their incredible fitness and bravery. Recently, the Jeju Haenyeo Museum has been hosting a special talk show where Haenyeo themselves share stories of their lives directly with visitors. Today, we're joined by Choi Jung-yoon, a young Haenyeo who leads these talk shows and also serves as an English interpreter to learn more about Jeju's Haenyeo culture and their deep connection with the sea. Welcome, Jung-yoon.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
We are so happy to have you here on the show today, and especially because you probably came from Jeju all the way to Seoul to be here with us.
That's right.
So, okay, Jung-yoon, you just recently became a Haenyeo, and actually I heard this from Walter, who introduced you to our show. So could you please introduce a bit about yourself and what inspired you to become a Haenyeo?
So I am a second-year diver, and that's still considered a baby diver, a novice diver, or 아기 Haenyeo in Jeju language. And I've been just fascinated by Jeju Haenyeo's grit and their spirit. And I always just imagine living in Jeju and being a diver there. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, does it take a long time to officially become a Haenyeo?
It depends on the village. So there are 103 fishing villages in Jeju, and every village's regulation is all very different. So my village kind of, had the interim period of 1.5 years, kind of figuring out whether I can be a fit Haenyeo. And this year in April, I got my Haenyeo license for the very first time, and very excited for that.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you.
And Jung-yoon, recently the Jeju Haenyeo Museum has been operating a program called the Bulteok Talk Show. So please, could you explain what Bulteok means?
Sure. So what I'm wearing is traditional Jeju Haenyeo diving clothing. Obviously, we don't wear this anymore. But back in the days, until 1970s, we would wear only this. And this white thing, we would just put on after diving. So it'll be only this onesie, kind of sleeveless thing. So after diving in the winter, of course, it's very cold. So we needed this fireplace. And that fireplace is called Bulteok. And so after diving, we would come out, the Haenyeo will gather around, and we would try to warm our body a little bit. And Bulteok was not a place to warm ourselves, but a place for a community where we share food, or raise our children, or talk about village gossip. So that kind of spirit is related to Bulteok. So we wanted to bring that name and have this talk show at Haenyeo Museum so that we can share the spirit of Haenyeo with the visitors.
Right.
Sounds
and
fun.
I've noticed, I've been keeping an eye on you through social media, that you're a very well-spoken person. So I think you're the best kind of person to provide English interpretations, especially about this historical thing as Haenyeo culture to foreign visitors, right? Now, especially at the museum, how do international audiences tend to view Jeju's Haenyeo culture? And are there particular aspects that surprise or fascinate them the most?
I mean, every time I interpret for the Bulteok Talk Show, I'm so touched by the interest and also just, the zeal the international visitors have for Haenyeo. So pretty much they get informed by Haenyeo by watching K-drama or being interested in Korean culture through, fiction or storybook. And they are specifically in Jeju most of the time to meet Haenyeo. And I've met so many people from different countries, like all the way from Indonesia, Malaysia, Italy, Israel, Ukraine, and a lot of them are very touched to meet Haenyeo in person. Maybe not really me, because with me, I have along the older Haenyeo who have been diving for 50, 60 years. Wow. And a lot of them are in tears just to meet them. And I think it's not like a pity-like tears, but just happy tears that, oh, you lived this hard life, but look at you with your spirit and courage. You have lived your life and you raised your children. I admire you, that kind of stuff. So I think, they're just so excited and happy to see our Haenyeo.
I feel like after the K-drama, when life gives you tangerines, maybe more foreign visitors are interested into Haenyeo culture as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
And this program probably runs for a couple more months, right?
So we started in March, and I interpreted a couple of times last year. So it's monthly thing every third or fourth Wednesday of the week, and we go from March to November.
Okay, so still a lot of time. Also, if we ever get to make a trip to Jeju later this year, I'll try to check out the talk show myself.
Thank you.
But Jung-yoon, let's talk a little bit more about Jeju Island and Haenyeo culture and more of that. Jeju is often referred to as Samdado, meaning the island of three abundances: wind, rocks, and women. So how do you see the relationship between the lives of Haenyeo and these unique cultures of Jeju?
And it's really just impossible to take Haenyeo apart from Jeju's nature, because our life in Jeju is really just entangled with the nature and catering to what's given to us, and also just making the best out of what's given to us. So it's very windy and it's very rocky, so it's very hard to farm. So going out to the ocean and try to get food and sell that seafood to make a living for your family was very important to Haenyeo. And so Haenyeo history, Haenyeo's life is Jeju's history and Jeju's life. And it still continues on to this day. Unfortunately, Haenyeo's number are greatly reducing at this point, but I want to continue on with the tradition. So I want to carry on the importance of being one part of that three things: the wind, rock, and the women, as a Haenyeo woman.
Yeah, I do definitely see your passion for it when I watch your stories or posts on Instagram, or even through your partner's Instagram. He's very proud of you. He shows off everything that you do, and I very much keep a close eye on how how important this is for you. So Jeju's Haenyeo culture is recognized globally as a truly unique cultural tradition, and it's very interesting. But in your opinion, what are its greatest values and appeals?
So not only the practice of diving our work, but I think the community is the most important thing, and that's very unique, because going out and working hard, everybody does it, but I think risking life and being out in the wild, in the nature, and just being in that dangerous situation, that's very unique about Haenyeo's diving practice. And so making sure your colleagues are safe and watching out for each other, and always sharing. So as women get older or weaker, they can maybe not dive as well as before, and we'll try to look out for the older Haenyeo, maybe share our catches and make sure that everybody's safe and well fed.
Right.
So
it
that
is
community.
quite a dangerous job in itself. Like it does seem very dangerous, but why do you think Haenyeo culture is increasingly being discussed, not simply as an occupation per se, but as an important cultural heritage for the younger generations?
I felt the community is so important after I joined the Haenyeo community, because I lived and worked in Seoul for 13 years, and this life was fun too, but I never really felt I was part of anything, really. And to be in a very tight-knit community and to share food and lives together, I truly feel like this is the life for me, and I feel happy, I feel safe, I feel like I have a place to go, I have people to talk to. So for younger generation, I don't think we get to experience that a lot, even though there are great communities out there. So to be in this situation and learn the values of the community's values and help, I think people want to emulate that in their communities as well.
Right, it really seems like it's not just only a job, but it is really about community. And Jung-yoon, we understand that Haenyeo see the sea as more than just a place of livelihood. So what does the sea represent to Haenyeo?
I think it's our kitchen, it's our playground. When I ask our older Haenyeo, why did you become a Haenyeo? They're like, I didn't have a choice. This was just part of my life. So when they first start training as a Haenyeo, they don't know if they're being trained. They're just out there playing. And then eventually you'll start catching. And then age 13 or 14, they wanted to help out with the family. So they had no choice but become a Haenyeo and not go to school or learn anything at school. So sea is just a place of life. That's where life begins. That's where you catch seafood for your family, and that's where you want to get older by. And so in my village, recently 3 Haenyeo retired, and even though they're not diving anymore, they would come out to the ocean, they would ride their little motorcycle, and they just want to observe the sea, because that's what they've done for the past 7 decades. So they want to continue just being by the ocean.
So they would be part of the Bulteok too?
So Bulteok was of a practice in the past. I think Bulteok started to disappear in 1970s because now we have something called changing room.
Oh.
So we have a building with warm, heated seat and hot water running. So the changing room is like a modern day Bulteok for Haenyeo.
Nice.
Right, and just before our last question, Jung-yoon, I have noticed a massive change with you and your partner as soon as you moved to Jeju. I heard about it long before you actually moved, and you give the international audience so much back to Jeju. I think Jeju is very much appreciative of people like you. I mean, you document a lot of stuff, you talk about a lot of stuff, you have your own radio show, etc. I really think that Jeju has found great residence in yourself and in your partner. So, on behalf of Jeju, I'm sure they're very, very proud to have you there. And last but not least, becoming a Haenyeo likely changed the way that you view the ocean itself. Are there any life lessons or wisdom you have learned from the sea?
From the ocean, I think the grit and spirit of Jeju Haenyeo's wisdom lives with me every day. So whenever I dive, there are times when I think I saw a seafood, a conch maybe, and then I'll dive, and then it wasn't a conch, it was a rock, and then I'll come out empty-handed. And the Haenyeos will tell me, no, you never cannot come out empty-handed. You have to come out even at least a rock or something. So they're saying if you are holding your breath, risking something to go out and get something, then you just have to come out with something in your hand. So that kind of just courage and grit of, just making your life, that's something I learned from them.
Wow, fascinating. Jung-yoon, thank you very much for sharing your story with us today. I think you're going to be a big inspiration, especially to the coming generations who want to become a Haenyeo. So thank you very much and keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.